Hello, people. Welcome to another episode of the Top 4 Football Podcast. I mean, last week we had 4. This week we're down to 3. No Nave Boy here, but that's all right. We're still going to crack on and talk about some interesting topics going on in the world of football. Obviously, Champions League kicking off, Premier League in full swing now. Season starting to take shape. We're going to start off with the topic that everyone in football is talking about. And before the podcast, I always try and be like conscious that we've done our research before topics and that we know what we're talking about. But I feel like collectively amongst the football world, no one really knows how the fuck this VAR decision has happened against Liverpool Spurs. So to be honest with you, there doesn't need to be too much research. We just need to hear the audio and then try and work out what the fuck happened. For those who don't know, essentially, Liverpool v Spurs, hell of a game on paper, hell of a game drama-wise. And bit of controversy in the match. Liverpool, Spurs won 2-1. Two sending-offs for Liverpool, which, I mean, that's one thing to discuss in itself. But the main topic of discussion is the Liverpool goal being ruled out for offside. Luis Diaz, when he wasn't offside, and VAR getting it wrong.
Who else got sent off? It's Curtis Jones and
Jota.
Oh yeah.
I see people having a go saying that Jota one shouldn't have been one but the second yellow was so stupid he deserves to get a red.
Yeah, it was. It's quite interesting because I think we said we were chatting in the chat. I hate it when podcasts reference their group chat, but I've just done it now. We were chatting in our group chat when it was on, and when that goal was disallowed, immediately we said, "Don't know how it's been disallowed." Before we saw the replay, really, before we heard all the chat, and I think I said it and someone else agreed. I said if you bring on, I still thought at half time if they brought on Darwin, they'd win the game. Brought on Jota instead, got sent off. So I think we were ahead of the curve this weekend, boys. But it's this is the most excited I've been for a game this season, and I just left feeling pretty deflated, to be honest, and feeling a bit bitter about the state of modern football.
I will say I didn't actually watch the full game. I was away this weekend, but it was on like in the background. And the only bit I saw was Diaz's offside goal. Managed to see that bit, but when did they release the audio? Yesterday, I'm assuming we've all listened to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a shit show, I must say.
So it's a hard one for I think obviously if you listen to the podcast now and you haven't heard the audio, hit pause, go listen to it, come back and listen to the rest of the podcast, and whilst you're there, give it a share. But
Can I be honest? I didn't actually listen to it, and but I sort of actively didn't listen to it. I started, and then I realised it was just winding me up, and I didn't want to because I think I got the gist of the message. It should have been a go, and it wasn't. So I sort of actively opted out of it.
Okay, so I listened to it earlier again just to be sure. It seems to me that what's happened is the VAR ref has got it wrong.
Daz.
The main
Daz is
the main ref who relays it to the referee. He's been speaking to the guys who line up who are like the assistants, but also like line up the camera angles to what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And they sort of went, "Oh yeah, it's a goal," but then he's misheard and made a mistake and maybe said it was offside to the referee, and then because the game's already restarted at that point, they can't go back.
I actually portrayed it as something slightly differently, in that obviously who was reffing it again? I can't remember.
Don't know, some weird looking bloke. Like chubby
Some
little
weird
bloke.
looking. Anyway, the weird looking bloke on Lino give it as offside, right?
Yeah.
They went to the VAR room. Then the VAR ref was asking this guy Ollie or something along these lines to put the lines, like line up the camera and put the 2D lines on. Like I think it was who's playing him onside. I can't remember again. My head's gone. To put the line on his back foot, right? And then, as far as I'm concerned, or what I got from the audio was that this assistant VAR referee who was doing the lines had the assumption that the on-field decision was a goal. So he very quickly then said, check complete, it's a goal, crack on. They restarted the game, and then as they kicked off, one of the other assistants said, hold on, mate, you're happy with it being offside? And then he's like, what? No, it's a goal. He's onside. It's a goal.
Yeah.
On-field decision, goal, check complete. He's like, no, it was given as offside. And then that's when they started panicking then. You could hear him being like, all he's saying, pause the game. All he's saying, delay the game for about 2 minutes.
I know, it's shocking.
And then the final, the official VAR ref is like, can't do anything about it now. They've restarted the game. Like, I don't know what they're expected to do in that instance. It sounds like they don't have even thought about that scenario in terms of like, if it's a wrong decision, they acknowledge it pretty quickly. Are they able to bring it back? Because I feel like they should. Like, I feel like they should just know, dead ball, like, stop the game. You need to go back and double check it. I feel like it's better for the game and to stop hearing Klopp cry about it for the last 3 days.
100%. Like, I get that this whole, I get it. Like, the game restarted, so like that's it. But like, surely at that point you're like this is a goal. This is like clear as day a goal. This will ruin this match if it doesn't get given. So just get a message in the ref's ear. Stop the game. Because people have to take longer with VAR. It will annoy people. It will annoy the manager. It will annoy the fans and not know what's going on. And they'll be like, what's going on? But it's much better for them to be complaining at the end of the game and be like, oh, how did they get it wrong? But, to go back to spot that rather than be in the position we're in now where it's just the wrong
result.
And they let the game happen. And then it's like, what minute was that? It was like the 32nd minute or something. The rest of the game is completely different because of that, because they just didn't pull the ref. And if it's in the rules, it shouldn't be in the rules when it's something that obvious.
Absolutely has to be. They need to think about that now. This needs to be a massive learning curve for them. But in my personal opinion, again, I'm no professional, but if this happens again, where they've restarted the game, unless a major event or an advantage has happened, which I don't think it was at the time, I think it was just out for a throw in Liverpool's half. But like, unless there's been like a really dangerous free kick called or like a corner kick or something, maybe then it is a bit too late. But surely it's down to the ref's discretion to be like, nothing's actually happened here since we've kicked it off. Bring it back. Do I mean, let's get this right and bring it back. Do I mean, because surely it would have saved them the grief of everything that they're going through now in terms of Liverpool demanding a replay, which isn't going to happen because they're not the only team that's been done over by a controversial VAR call. But I feel like that needs to happen in the future. Like, obviously, it's a massive learning curve now, so it'd be interesting to see if they actually learn from it, because they were panicking. Like, they were swearing. They were like, fuck, like, we fucked up here. And the funniest thing about that audio clip is, I don't know if you remember, as soon as they said check complete and the game restarted, one of them said, well done, boys, good process. And then about 10 seconds later, Ollie was like, shit, boys, delay the game. So funny. Like,
what bugs me is I don't know why the lino flagged it, because he doesn't flag it straight away. He's seen it and he's waiting till Diaz is about to shoot, and then he does the flag. At that point, is he not meant to just let it go on and then let VAR check it? Is that, well, I'm asking that rhetorically, but I don't really know what the rules are, nor do them. But it's he left it so late to raise the flag, which I thought was so bizarre. It was so bizarre, You're right. You're right in saying there probably won't be a rematch, but there might be. It seems a bit Ange, don't you think? Ange could say something. No,
I don't know.
I kind of see it.
They can't. They literally won't play the rematch because the precedent that will set is just unimaginable.
Of course, yeah. That's
the
fair.
absolute. Even though this, I think, is a special case where the audio clearly shows that it was just like a miscommunication or something. I just feel like the precedent of like, if this gets replayed, then they're going to want to release audio from every decision ever coming up, and then if there's anything that slightly goes wrong, managers will be calling for replays and stuff. It's just an absolute can of worms. But I suppose the real question is, should we, what our opinions on VAR, and whether we feel like we should stick to having VAR or not.
I mean, in theory, it's good for the game, right? On paper, it's good for the game. But not when it's run by idiots. And that's what it feels like at the moment. Like Howard Webb is leading it at the moment, isn't he? And feels like he's got the right intentions, but practically, is it working? Clearly not. And Sunday was a fine example of that. They panicked. They didn't know. It sounded like they didn't know what to do. Like, surely, if you're going to have something like this in place, you need a procedure for every scenario. And it's obviously it might be impossible to do that, but just in terms of a general scenario, whereas a wrong call's been given, games restarted, what happens? You know what I mean,
I think that decision as well has come from. It almost sounds like the geezer, Daz, I think, is like rushing, and I know it's got to be quick because when it first came out, it was taking so long. People were like moaning about it, and maybe that's why it is. But it's like,
Yeah, but less mistakes though, wasn't there? There was less mistakes when that was happening.
if it just took a couple of seconds, like more, just to clarify,
yeah.
he's almost gone. Oh yeah, cheers, thanks. Yeah, that's a good. And if he had a conversation with the other people before he back to the ref, just like 3 seconds, maybe the decision wouldn't have been given.
Well, Gary Neville said, didn't he? Because when he's commentating in the gantry, he gets a live feed of VAR, and he heard the check complete straight away, and even he said straight away, he was like, "That was too quick," because he said it was like a goal, but I don't know.
It was really weird.
It was so strange. It was so bad.
Because to be fair, he's not here, so I'll support him. Like Nath was like, "What's happened there?" He's like, "They haven't even shown the lines." He looked on, and I was like,
"Yeah,"
and I was like, and like I'm sure it said like onside on the top corner or something, and I was just like, "Yeah, that's really weird." And then it got to half time, and they literally spoke about it for like they went for a break after half time, did the analysis, then they went for another break, then they come back and they spoke about it for like 20 seconds, like about 5-10 seconds, and then the game had already kicked off. Like I don't know if you'd seen that, but it was like one of those times where you watched in the game and Sky Sports haven't had it or BT haven't had it on like the camera for the center. It was like it was just really like strange, and that might have nothing to do with the decision. It might have just been that Sky had messed up their timers with the adverts and like, but it's just like, oh yeah, we only got 5 seconds, and obviously Nath with his tinfoil hat on was like, there's something going on, and
It's
he
an
is right.
agenda.
Obviously, something's obviously has, and what's happened in the last couple of days, he was bang on, but I was just like, what is going on? Like it was just a weird coverage and like a weird match.
Yeah, it was. There is a little bit of me that thinks though they need to just get over it. Like it's not. They're not the only team that has been on the wrong end of a VAR call.
It's way too big for that. You're talking about, all right, Klopp is probably the most secure manager in the league, up there with Pep. Any other manager, like if that was an important game and like we were on a losing run, the money that's in it for Champions League, or like if Liverpool finish within 3 points of City, I don't think they are. But if they do, well, then we've got a fucking problem. Then we've got a real problem.
It is injustice though, isn't it?
What they need now, what all those refs, all the VAR are hoping is that there's about fucking 12. Well, they're hoping there's 4 points above Liverpool and there's 4 points below. They are all absolutely praying that, because if there isn't, people are going to be getting sued. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Crazy scenario, man.
It is, and like I said, we no one really knows what's going on, so we can't do too much analysis on it. And I feel like it's one of those things where more might come out. I think hopefully no more mistakes, but more might come out from it. Another topic that's sort of been in the news like today. I'm gonna let Rob lead on this because, to be honest with you, Rob's been updating me about it throughout the day. He looks worried now, but the Euro hosts and the World Cup hosts have been sort of decided for the next few years.
Yeah, correct. They have been. That happened today. 2028 Euro is going to be UK and Ireland. Quite exciting here in the motherland.
Yeah, be there.
Do you want to do it quick? Do you want to guess the stadiums quick?
Oh, how many? Oh, that's a good one.
There's 10 in it.
Yeah, 10.
It's like an off-the-cuff tenable game, right? You go first, Jack.
The Principality. I'm taking the Welsh one. Principality.
All right, Principality.
Tick.
The Aviva.
Tick.
Old Trafford.
Dublin.
The St James's Park.
Correct.
Wembley.
Correct.
Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Correct.
Murrayfield.
No, what's that? Murrayfield.
Hampden
Scottish.
Park.
Oh,
Oh,
Hampden
Hampden
Park.
Park. Hampden
That's
Park.
who
Yeah,
you
yeah,
meant. That's who you meant.
I'm on about fucking rugby.
Is it a Northern Ireland one, Rob?
yeah.
Oh, Windsor Park.
No,
Windsor Stadium.
Castlemaine in Belfast, and that's Windsor
Maybe,
Stadium.
maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's been renamed. I don't think it had a sponsor. So how many's that we got left?
You got 3 more. All in England.
Liverpool.
Villa Park.
Yes, not Liverpool, Jack. One that hasn't been built yet.
Everton Stadium.
Yeah, can you believe that?
So it's one more. And is it in London?
Scotland. It's got to be the Scot. Oh no, we've had Scotland one.
Who? Where's the one more? Is it what country?
England.
Okay, so we've
Is it
done
down south.
no.
Nope. Pretty high up
No.
the league. You've said their rivals.
Oh, Man City. Man City. Man City. Yeah.
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 So,
See.
yeah, bit of a range. So you got one in Scotland, one in Ireland, one in Northern Ireland. It's exciting. It's exciting. I'm feeding into my next point. I'm kind of getting the World Cup's expanding and moving to multiple countries. I do not like it. I really don't like it. But UK and Ireland, you still get away with it. It's still got that sense of identity. Even though I love the Northern Ireland link. You know, being proud of English sort of has a negative spin a lot of the time, but in footballing terms, I'm very much proud. So I do think if it was just England, we'd also do a great job. But that's the way these international tournaments are going now. It's multiple countries and stuff like that. Feeding on to the World Cup 2030. There's a lot of places. Technically speaking, the host nations are Spain, Portugal, and Morocco. There's bloody water between them. Well, not Spain and Portugal. And then the three games are being played in Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. So you're right, James. It spreads over 3 continents. And I must say, I really don't like it because for me, and I understand I'm a growing minority in football in the probably the way I watch it and the way I feel about it, and in the terms of way people make money off of football fans. I love it when it's in one country because it's not just about it being in one place. It's an immersion of the culture of and all of the TV work they cut to musicians and artists from that country, and they cut to the streets and all the kids playing. It's fucking beautiful and I love it. I absolutely adore it. And with all of this,
it's celebrating that one country particularly. It's giving them the world stage, and it's their time to shine. Like it's like that's like that 2010 South Africa vibe was unmatched. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, even the Russia World Cup. Do you remember the sort of the sort of artwork they would have in the studios? They sort of based it on those sort of weird roofs they have in the Russian cities, but it was fucking beautiful. I loved it. So
Brave calling it weird. This can't go up. We have to cut that bit out. Calling the Russian buildings looking weird.
Oh yeah,
they're just not normal structures that we're used to. That's all.
I also said I fucking love it, so I've got Putin.
Yeah,
but
no, I mate 100%. But yeah, 100%. I remember the 2006 Germany World Cup. Just even just focusing on Germany and all the cities around there, and also just like it puts a lot of money in. Do you know what I mean? Like into like sometimes countries like they put so much money in the advertising and then building the new stadiums. What they get back is having all the games and all the fans and all the hotels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite an educational thing as well. I'm attracted to the educational side of learning about these places as well. But they're spreading it across. You see, they're spreading it across 6 countries where. I mean, I suppose all of them could host it on their own. I wouldn't be against the Spain, Portugal. They could do it together. Perhaps some of the South Paraguay, Uruguay. Morocco did want to do it with Tunisia at some point. Do you remember that? That would have been interesting. But all together, it's just a bit of a...
Yeah, and also like the 3 games. The 3 games is a nice idea, but like... So basically, it's Argentina, Paraguay, and Uruguay. So Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay will get the opening 3 games at home in their groups. That's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
and then they'll get moved, and then everyone else will play in Spain, Portugal, Morocco.
Yeah.
That's like you can see it now already. Like teams who get drawn against those teams in the first game are going to be
You'd be
complaining.
fuming.
They're because they can't make a base and stay there. Like there's such a massive thing. Like you go at the base and like you get a base. That's the other thing. Like you get a base in one country and you stay there the whole time. But if you spread it out, it makes it impossible. Like Spain, Portugal, and Morocco is not that far, but you're not going to be getting buses like from the one base to all the games. Like you're going to have to be flying everywhere.
No,
If you play in that first, sorry, go on.
well, I said it to you earlier. I'm actually saying it because I thought you were going to nick my point. I said to you on message earlier. I'm not getting into the idea of climate change, but you're already going to see the articles about the unnecessary gap in the World Cup and how people are literally going to have to fly. You're already going to see people protesting and being outraged about that. It's just unnecessary, really, isn't it? Same with 2026 is USA, Canada, and Mexico. I mean, those are got some pretty drastically different fucking climates in there.
Yeah, definitely, mate. 100%. It's going to be bonkers, and that's the other thing because I just remember. I did a little school project on the Germany World Cup, and I know that like they upgraded the transport system so everyone can get the trains like interlinking to like everywhere. And it's like once you pay the flight, you get to the country, you can stay there for the whole World Cup, and you just got to worry about getting the trains to places. But now it's like, if we wanted to go now, and the idea, Spain's honestly obviously one of the best fucking places to go. Like depending whereabouts the matches are, Brits love going to Spain. But we might be like, oh shit, if we come top, if we went out there, it'd be like, oh shit, if we come top, we might have to go fucking Morocco, or if Wales win or they draw and they come second, we have to end up finding a way to get to Portugal. Do you know what I mean? It's just like all these dilemmas which they don't think about the fans. That's not what they're thinking about.
Absolutely not.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
it's mad.
It's too commercial, and it's like even if you look at the 2012 Olympics, right? I mean, one, we absolutely smashed it, but two, yeah, all the time I still hear people about how the legacy of our Olympics still impacts today. The infrastructure that was built after it and the inspiration like in this country for like sports and stuff, and everything. It's still there today, and we're not really going to have that with a World Cup set in 6 different countries, are we? It's just going to be it's just a television World Cup, isn't it? Really now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
that's
much.
where the money is. That's where most of the money is, and the easiest amount of money to make is. So, go on, Jack.
I was just going to say, I think it's obviously having Principality Stadium in there is big for Wales. Obviously, as the Welshman, I think it's a good platform for us. But I also think it's one of the best stadiums on that list in general. But the mad news is that if that bid was successful, which I think Turkey and someone else pulled out of it, Wales are now hoping to host a friendly match against Argentina in the Principality as a promotion for it. So I think like next year, I think they're planning on getting the boys over to play against them in the Principality just to show off his capabilities. I think so. That could be
great.
That could be a tidy little match.
Principality is one of the best stadiums in the world, definitely in Europe. Do you know what I mean? Like when AJ was at his peak and they were using it for the boxing and stuff when they couldn't use Wembley. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because how good it is. But you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself at the moment, Jack, because you're presuming that Wales are going to be playing at the Euros. Because obviously, what is interesting about the 5 countries being there is that I think they're only going to allow 3 to automatically to get. No, they're only going to allow 2. They're only going to allow 2 to be qualified as hosts. So essentially, and Rob's looking, and I know Rob might, but I think I've got this right. So, for example, if just England and Scotland qualified through the normal qualifying process, then only 2 out of the 3 remaining teams would be able to qualify as hosts.
How do they pick that?
I think it'll be based off how they've done in the qualifying.
Yeah, fair.
And maybe a bit of world ranking, but I think it'll be based off the qualifying. That's essentially it, isn't it, Rob? That like.
Believe so, mate. Yeah.
If no one qualified, only 2 would be going. So And look, I think Wales will qualify, but you're making a bit of a meal of this qualification.
Well, I was gonna say we'll definitely make this. We'll definitely make that one, but I don't know about this one next year.
So
That's looking
it'll
touch
be
and go.
great for Wales, but you might have Ireland playing in there, not
Yeah.
Wales.
Oh,
I got faith, mate. I got faith. I'll be watching it. Don't worry.
I'll give you to link back to my point about it being in too many places. And I can't believe I'm saying the year 2034, but the team's currently interested in that. You've got Australia and New Zealand combined, which I think works as a combined. You've got China, which makes sense because, in fact, wasn't 2030 the year that China said they wanted to be dominant? You've also got Saudi Arabia. That
They're getting it. Lock it in. They're going.
they're certainly getting it.
Lock it in.
They've got it in. Can
But
we bet on
no.
this?
I tell you what, you would rather have the absolute rogue one in this list: Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan combined bid.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go there.
They're not getting it. I don't think. But Saudi Arabia are 1,000,000,000%. There's literally just they might as well just stop it now.
Yeah,
they're getting it. They've paid off. They've paid off whoever they need to pay off. It's already a done deal. And to be honest with you, I want to go. So, though Ronaldo is like an ambassador for that, it's going to be.
He'll be playing it.
Probably. That'd be class. So we got a decent little few years lined up for football. So 2024 Germany, 2026 is
USA, Canada,
USA.
Mexico.
I mean USA. That's decent. And then United Kingdom 28, and then 2030 Spain, Morocco. So do you know what I mean? They're not out. They're not like hard to get to. Do you know what I mean? So
It's looking decent.
we always talk about going, but there's definitely one good to there'll definitely be good places to go to. Which sort of leads us into our sort of last little segment today that I was thinking because me and Rob been chatting a little bit in the last week about places we want to go watch football, and I'd just like to know, and this is maybe one that the listeners can think about as well. What one stadium in the world would you like to go to watch a football game?
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Who wants to go first?
Oh, you go first, Jack. Have you got one ready?
Should I take the honors?
Go on.
I don't know if it's a fairly obvious one, but I feel like I'd have to go there now that it's not being knocked down. It's the San Siro. Like that stadium, man, like with the Inter and AC. Like imagine watching Inter AC in the San Siro. Like, come on. That's got to be elite, right?
Oh, what? So you want to go and you want to see AC Inter?
Yeah, if I'm gonna go there, bro.
Good luck. Good luck.
I'm going there. I'll probably die, but it's all good. So there's that one, and then do you want to know my backup, or should I wait?
Not yet, because as you pointed out before the podcast, we may
Yeah. So
both...
if I had to pick one, San Siro, get me there.
Okay, Rob, do you want to go first? Go second.
I'll go first. Yeah. I think San Siro is potentially the right answer, if I'm honest. And there's that and another one which like fit the answer if you wanted to go for one of these like classically grand stadiums. But I'm much more of a fan of looking at these picturesque postcard stadiums at the minute. And as much as I would like to pick that 150,000 seater one in North Korea, I think that would be a good day out. But I think I'm going for Lake Como Como FC is my answer.
Nice.
Because it's a recurring one that pops up on my and the last couple of times I've been asked that question, it's appeared to my mind straight away as if almost on instinct, and it's right by the river, right by the lake. They filmed some of Star Wars and James Bond in Como, so I can go check that out. And it just looks fucking beautiful.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you know the president? Do you know who the president is of Como FC?
I do. Yeah, I think. Is it Cesc Fabregas?
Oh no, he used to play for them. Retired. Dennis Wise. I found that out today.
Dennis Wise.
Back seat for a pub quiz.
Yeah,
Go on, Jimmy P.
Okay, so San Siro was mine. I'll be honest. That is the one. So I'm gonna go for. I mean, I got one like little rogue one, but I've just got to say, I've got to go watch a game in the Bernabeu. I've loved Real Madrid since I was a kid, and I just would love, and especially now they're like doing it. They've sort of done it up now, and I think it's done, or it's definitely the
Yeah, it's done
outside of
now.
it's done, and it looks unbelievable.
That
Went
was
to
my
Barca.
backup, by the way. My backup is the Bernabeu.
I went to Barca not long ago. Obviously got the new camp, and I'm like, there weren't any games on. I was like, I could go, but like, it wasn't like I wasn't 100% fussed about it. Like I know the new camp is, but I've just never been more of a Real Madrid than a Barcelona fan. But if no matter what I'm doing, if I go to Madrid, I'm going to check out the stadium. Just look at it from the outside.
Yeah,
It's got to be the Bernabeu. I know you had a couple of little. You maybe had a second reserve, Jack.
No, I just wrote the two.
Well,
Who's your second? The Bernabeu.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. My bad. My bad.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
Sorry, that's what I just said. I was like, my backup was the Bernabeu.
it's
oh,
the
my
one
bad.
I hinted at as well after Jack's answer. It'd be great if you went, James, for content, and we could put you in. You could share a picture of you wearing your Real Madrid shirt when you were younger. But the issue would be trying to hide the Robinho name on the back.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that on the pod. But you're right. You're right. I did have a little Robinho top when I was young, and
when you were wrong.
And now I can't pass that on to anyone.
One of my favorite footy tops I had when I was a kid was a Real Madrid. I think it was it was the one where it was like on the shoulder line, now like the blue lines coming down, and I had Kaká on the back.
Oh, I was really hoping you say a British player then, just to wind you up, English player. But yeah, Kaká, he was a bit of a flop there. And I tell you what, one other stadium where I've got to go to, and I'm keeping it current based off this week's results, Man United, Rams Park, Galatasaray. I just want to go there and I want to see like the carnage.
Just for the vibes.
Do you know what I mean? Just see the carnage and see the limbs.
Yeah, there's a couple coming to mind on that. Like my third probably would have been Dortmund.
Definitely.
Dortmund would be a good one.
I want to go to Munich because that the way that stadium like changes colours and just mint stadium in there.
Been in Munich for a game, just a nice stadium tour. The day James Rodriguez signed.
Love that.
All right, sorry. I didn't want this to be us fucking listing stadiums, so I thought I'd offer some personal insight.
Right, I think we need to wrap it up, but very quickly, we're just about to go off and watch Newcastle PSG. Quick score predictions, even though it won't matter for the listeners, but I want to know.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Newcastle.
Oh gosh,
James.
I think I was going to say the same, to be honest with you. I hate to be boring. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go 3-1 Newcastle. And I tell you what, I reckon the headline is going to be Kieran Trippier having a fucking masterclass against Dan Bath. That's my prediction.
I'm going 2-2.
2-2. Well, we heard it here there first. Obviously, if you're listening now, you'll know how wrong we got all those predictions. And have a little think what stadium you would like to go to and try and make that happen. Thanks for listening. This has been the Top 4 Football Podcast.